I feel so good today. This is the first time I've slept more than 8 hours in a very long time. I can't actually remember the last time I slept that long. But today is gonna be a ridiculously crazy day. Probably lots of time lapses and things like that because I've got to take the exhaust manifold and the turbo and everything hot side off the SR. We're gonna repair that manifold, put it all back together, take the diff out, put in a new center, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna say now it's probably a bit unrealistic for me to expect me to get that all done today, but I'm gonna try my hardest to. I'm not gonna muck around on anything. I'm just gonna get in on the tools and try and smash it out as quick as I can. Yuta's here too, so he might be able to help me a bit, but that's what we're doing. Also, check out the livery that Oka-chan's adding onto his car. So Oka-chan started this yesterday, and he's done this whole side with just that. He's got all the sponsorships and things like that to add on next. He's also got the rear, front, and the other side to do. So he's going to be working on that today while I'm working on my car directly behind it. And anyways, I think that's about it. Let's get a time lapse set up and start stripping down this hot side. So I've gotten the entire hot side pulled down of my SR in less than 2 hours, which I'm pretty proud of. And we got the manifold and wastegate and everything here. So let's get a closer look at exactly what's happened. I mean, it's pretty obvious here that it just snapped right clean off. And you can see like it even has a bunch of stays that are on this to prevent it from doing that. But it just flexed them and they broke regardless. This is a very heavy wastegate as well, so I'm kind of not surprised, and if the engine's flexing a whole bunch it's kind of going to do that. So yeah, it broke well and truly really well. Luckily everything kind of lines up perfect there, so it'll be pretty easy to weld back together, but we're going to put some more stays on there to try and make it a lot stronger and whatnot. But man, this HKS exhaust wastegate is so freaking beefy. It's insane. Also there's a random hole there too that I'm like, how did that get there? But there's no bracket or anything that was bolted onto that part, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, we're going to add some more stays, make it stronger. I'll disconnect this obviously so that we've got we can weld this on there without the wastegate being there and stuff. But for now, I'm going to jack up the rear because we've still got about another hour and a half before lunchtime, and I'm going to start removing the diff. Hopefully, if I'm lucky and I get straight into it, I'll probably have the diff removed by lunchtime, which will be epically awesome because then we'll be on schedule to get everything done today and the car driving by the end of the night. So with that, time-lapse time, let's get this diff out. Also, just quickly, I thought I'd show you Oka-chan working on his livery and getting that all finished up too. So Oka-chan's now started the painful job of having to re-weld the entire exhaust wastegate piping and brackets and everything back onto the manifold. So he's getting that done now, and he's going to strengthen it as well, so pretty much just lay on the welds like crazy. He's smashing it right now. Anyways, I'm going to let him do his job. I'm going to get back onto this diff. I've already removed like the exhaust, disconnected the tail shaft, started disconnecting one of the drive shafts. Got to do the other side, and then I can put a jack in there and bring the sucker out. So I'm going to focus on that. So massive update. I've got the diff apart. It's a one-way and it's worn as all hell, so that's why that was giving me issues. Plus, I've never really driven on a one-way before, so that could also be another reason, but we definitely knew that it was slipping on both like directions, so that was kind of weird. So I went to take that out because we thought we were going to put that center in, but then when we had another look at this center, we realized that that's not a Nismo one, and Oka-chan's just like, don't even bother trying to use it, because if it was removed from something and was in the pile over there, it's probably something's wrong with it or something like that. So instead, we rummaged through everything and we found another 4.1. So we're going to put this in my car, and then I'm going to probably reassemble this just like loosely, so that when Oka-chan does get another center, he can put this in here and have a good 4.1 ready to roll, because 4.1 is really necessary when you have the Nismo 6-speed transmission, because of how they change first, second and third. It's like a higher ratio. You need a 4.1 to kind of match up with that to get the right final drive, I think is the right term. And over here, exhaust manifold and everything all fully restored and repaired. You can see here, Oka-chan also patched up the hole that was in my wastegate kind of dump. All the welds and everything, he re-welded everything on here. And on here, all the stays re-welded, and we're going to be making a special bracket that comes off from like a bolting point on the transmission that then is going to connect to the wastegate to stop it from moving by itself as well and breaking off. So that'll just kind of strengthen it even more and hopefully prevent that from happening. Another thing I noticed with the torque dampener is that the bracket that we have for the torque dampener that connects it to the engine to stop it from torquing, that had a huge crack in it too, and that had broken. So we're going to get a completely different piece for that and replace that, and then that should kind of hold things down. But I also have Nismo engine mounts already in this, and they're in good condition and they're practically brand new, so the engine doesn't really move that much anyway. So yeah, anyways, so we should be good. And then in the future, we're probably going to end up changing this whole setup, which is some exciting news that I'll be telling you guys about later. But this turbo entire setup won't be changing until after I finish rebuilding the 33.4 Skyline, because once this is all good and ready to roll, that's when I'll kind of retire. Well, I'm not going to retire the Skyline, but the Skyline's going to be pulled apart a little bit. We're going to rebuild a bunch of stuff, yeah, then once that's finished, we'll do some more work on the S15 and get this like a whole nother level of reliability. I definitely want like a 6-boost manifold or a CRG one. I'm more fond of the CRG ones, but pretty much same. Anyways, enough chit chat, time for lunch. Let's get some food, sit down and eat, and then smash this diff in, get my whole hot side back together. But I am so proud of myself of how much I've gotten done. We only started work, we only opened at 10, and I started working at this at 10:30, and it's only now just hit 1:30, and look at everything we've accomplished. It's friggin' awesome. We're gonna have this thing back together and driving by the end of today for sure, but just hopefully Rodnock doesn't call me and rub off his curse. All right, let's go. So a little bit of an update for you lads. We got the diff in, that's already tightened, good to drop down. The only thing I've got kind of left to do that's part of that job is the exhaust, but I figured I'd put that on when I'm doing the downpipe and stuff for the turbo. So we'll do all that then. But we are now ready to pretty much start reassembling everything. We got all the new gaskets here as well, so we should be all G there. New T2 manifold, turbo gasket. This is so weird that HK still used a T2 flange on these. So this entire manifold's got a T2 flange on it. It's kind of weird, but whatever. The little bolt stays so that the bolts never come loose on the T2 flange, and a brand new gasket for the exhaust side. So definitely needed that because this thing was looking pretty beat and I didn't really want to reuse that. So glad that we got new gaskets and everything like that. And then we got to reassemble the wastegate and all of that as well with new gaskets, and we should be good to roll. So let's start reassembling everything. I just started bolting the manifold back on and I realized I kind of made a mistake. I probably need to take the manifold back off to put the wastegate and everything like that on, because I think it's all meant to go in together. But one other cool thing I wanted to show you is this tool here. I've never seen anything like it, but what you use this for is for twisting wire. And I did some wire twists and stuff on here, if you can see that, if the camera's going to focus. See how the wire's all twisted there? And what this tool does is, once you've got it in the position you want, you clamp onto it, and then you just pull on this thing, and it just twists and does all those nice kind of wire twists there. Very cool. Anyways, so I'm going to take the manifold back off again and install the wastegate and all of that, so it all slides in together, and then we'll start bolting the turbo ones. So luckily I didn't tighten down all the bolts yet onto the head. I just kind of nipped them down a tiny bit so that they were ready to be torqued, but taking it all off again. So it's been a while, but we've got the turbo bolted on, I've got the downpipe or front pipe bolted on, and I even had enough time to re-wrap the whole thing in some fresh titanium exhaust wrap, which actually came from the States, believe it or not, which I thought was kind of cool. Where is it? It's over here. Let me show you. I remember seeing this in, I think it was AutoZone, when I went to AutoZone with Chris. This stuff, so it's made it all the way to Japan. Okachan buys that all the time. Anyway, so yeah, wrapped the entire downpipe, which is nice and neat, and instead of using metal zip ties, I just use mechanics wires and that new favorite tool of mine that you literally just twist all the wires for you and stuff. You got to be careful though, if you go too far you will snap the wire, but yeah, as you can see, fair few loops there and all nicely in place. The rest of the stuff is pretty much all bolt-on, so exhaust, intake stuff, and then it's pretty much done, ready to go. Oh, I need to put the oil drain back in too. That's a whole hard line, by the way. I kind of really like this though, because that means you don't have any hose issues with it touching the exhaust manifold, and issues like, everyone always has issues with like oil lines and AN lines generally with turbos because of just placement and stuff like that and heat, but I'm glad that's still a hard line. Anyway, so I'm going to put that all in, and we'll get this thing finished because it's already 7 o'clock. Yuta's still doing the seal stuff, the wrapping. Everyone's just chilling over there, so I'm going to get this finished and then we're going to go. Well, it is about almost 8:30 p.m. and we are finished. 8:36 p.m. it is actually, and we are finished. Everything is done. The car is back on the ground. It's ready to move tomorrow. Everyone's waiting for me because they want to go home because we've obviously been here for an extra hour and a half, but it is all good to go. In fact, I might just do a quick sneaky start really quickly. Hey, and it runs. Just finished closing up the workshop, and you guys know the drill. We got to go to 7-Eleven, get a coffee, get some snacks, make sure I don't fall asleep on the drive home. And then when we get home, we're gonna have a good old chat. So today met all of my expectations, and it's been a long time since that has happened. It feels so good. I literally got home, opened the door, walked inside, and I was just glowing with self-achievement. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm sure you guys can relate that, like, when you actually get everything done and you know you worked your butt off and you did so much and it all went well, that you just feel so accomplished, and like, you know, nothing could upset you in that moment. Even if something crappy did happen, it's still like, I still got so much done today, I don't even care. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. The S15 is all back together, ready for skids again, which is awesome, because we are skidding again in like 2 days. So glad that's all done. Tomorrow's video is gonna be next level. I am going to an event tomorrow with a very special pass that allows me to see everything inside and out and all this kind of stuff for a motorsport that I have not experienced like seeing yet in the flesh or even on TV and stuff like that. I've seen a few YouTube videos here and there and stuff, but and I don't understand it at all and how it works, but it's a very, very big thing here in Japan, and a lot of you guys have been asking for it, and a company reached out to me and offered to send me there and everything with May, and you'll find out tomorrow, but it's epic, absolutely amazing. Going to a circuit that I've never been to before as well in Japan, so it's going to be incredible. So keep an eye out for tomorrow's video. Not going to give away any more hints than that, but yeah, tomorrow is going to be insane, and I gotta go to bed. It's about to hit 1 AM, and we have to be up at 4:30 to get there on time. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section, what was the most recent thing that you did that made you feeling super accomplished like we just talked about? Peace out, guys. Jamata.